Good day, residents. With all the power outages that we have been experiencing in the last couple of days, have you ever wondered what happens when they repair the power outages and they put the power switch back on to power the houses that's been out for several days? What I've done here is I'm creating a small demonstration to give you a practical idea of what happens. And with this, it will also help us going forward to deal with power outages that we will be experiencing with winter coming, the rains, the way they are now. So let me just do this. Okay, so next to me, I've got a generator. And next to the generator, I've got a kettle, and we've got a cable, an extension cable. So now, let's pretend that the generator is a substation. Let's say it's the observatory substation. I'm not saying necessarily, but let's pretend this is the observatory substation. Let's pretend that that kettle is a geyser in your house. Now remember that in a community like this valley and Kensington, there are several thousands of geysers. Now understand that when the power is off for more than a day, those geysers start getting cold. So obviously when the power gets switched on, all the geysers go on at the same time. Let me demonstrate to you what happens when I switch the kettle on, which is pretend geyser, and what happens to the substation, to the generator, and you can hear the change of pitch on the generator. Remember that the generator accelerates when it starts throwing a lot of power, when it starts using a lot of power. Okay, so what you've experienced, what you heard, was that when I switched the kettle on, the generator straight away started going about 4 times faster than the general idling. So basically, that's what happens when the air is out and the power gets put back on. When that happens, let's suppose I had 3 kettles now connected to that generator. In other words, 3 pretend geysers connected to this generator. And I switch them on all at the same time. 2 things would happen here. This generator would have either broken down, burned out, or the cable would have burned out. So basically, the weakest point coming out of a substation would eventually burn down. In what we've been experiencing in the last couple of weeks, what's actually been breaking down is the cable underground. Because of the rain, the way the soil now is moist as well, obviously non-upgraded cables. When there's a break and they join the cables, that becomes a weak spot in the cable. So that means that the cable going to the houses got damaged in several places. And that's because now that is the weakest point of the power coming out of the substation. So the moral of the story, what I'm saying, residents, is that, for instance, when you've got a power outage, what's the best thing to do? The best thing to do when your power goes off, go to your DV board and put all the switches down. You can leave one, you know, the DB boards, they say which breaker belongs to where. You can leave one switch up for the light so that you know when the power comes back on. You can leave your mains on, but all the trip switches, your stove switch, your geyser switch, your plug switch, everything goes down. You switch everything off in case the power went out when you were busy making coffee. Remember, if you're making coffee, 200 people were making coffee at the same time. And then, of course, the power goes out. Nobody goes around switching things off. They wait for the power to come back on so that whatever they were doing continues to be done. Your washing machine is on, your stove is on, that kind of stuff. So it's always so important to put your switches down for every power outage. If you at home, do it. Put the switches down. Leave them down until the power comes back on. Remember that there's always a risk of a power surge as well. That means if your switches are up and for some reason or the other, the power is not balanced and it sends out a power surge to your property, everything that's electronic will burn. Your fridges will burn. I mean, my fridge is toast. Your fridge will burn. Your computers will burn. Your TV can actually, you know, burn. I think it's got a power regulator, but still. So the point I'm making is, for your own safety as well, and for the sake of the network, always best to put your switches down so that when they fix the problem and City Power flicks the switches back on, we don't experience what I've just demonstrated. Okay, residents, I really hope that this helps to understand what goes on out there. If it helps and we practice these kinds of things, we can get through anything, and it makes things much easier for the power to get reinstated. Thank you.